Welcome back to my channel. So today is all about the handstand. So today we are going to be working on our handstands. Whether you are brand new to handstand or you've been doing handstand for a little while, I think some of these tips and tricks could maybe help you progress a little quicker. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you're warmed up. So not just the wrists. If you haven't done my wrist care video, go back, maybe check in my wrist care video, make sure that you are stretched out and that you have strengthened your wrists enough. If you haven't strengthened your wrists, a nice place to do that is working in planks, forearm planks, using the weights. All of that is in the video, so go ahead and check that out. So I like to make sure that my shoulders are warmed up because you have to have your shoulders open enough. If they're only here, this isn't going to be enough. The arms have to be in line with the head and you have to be able to get the palms flat. So work on your flexibility if that's not something that you have. To get the shoulders warmed up, I love coming into plank and forearm plank. So push that floor weight, round the upper back, hold it here for a minute in your forearm stand and your full plank, I'm sorry, not forearm stand, in your plank, and then holding another 30 seconds or a minute in your forearm plank, or moving back and forth between them. These are great places to warm up the wrists, to warm up the shoulders. And you can also use planks to warm up the waist, to warm up the core. So dropping the hips from side to side gets those transverse abdominals engaged and strong. And we do need to have our core activated and engaged in order to handstand. So you can do these hip dips. Another favorite of mine are bicycle crunches. Everybody can do them. Coming onto your back, right elbow towards left knee, and switching sides. I have very poor results handstanding if I haven't gotten the core engaged. So I like to do a little bit of planks. I like to do my 100 bicycle crunches. I kick up a couple of times on the wall. So I have this wall right here that I always use. And I kick up and I hold with proper form. Maybe even doing some scapular push-ups. Scapular push-ups are nice because we get the shoulder mobility and strength. So as you notice, my arms are staying straight and just dropping in through the chest. If it's too much to do that in a handstand, you can do that in plank position as well. So come into your plank, just drop the chest towards the floor, and then protract the shoulders. So retract, protract, retract, protract. Okay, so you get it. Get the shoulders warmed up, get the core warmed up. Without those two things, it's just a lot harder to hold your handstand. Okay, all right, so after you are warmed up, that would be my number one tip. My number two tip would be do more handstands. If you're not holding a handstand and you've been working on it for a year, it feels like, and you're not getting it still, you're not doing enough handstands. We are so used to walking around on our feet. We are not used to walking around on our hands. Somebody told me that tip. I think it might have been a YouTuber. They said the number one reason you can't do a handstand is you're not doing your handstands. And that really hit me. It was like, you're right, I work on it once or twice a week. I'm not fully committed to it. This is a very difficult posture. It really has to be a part of your daily practice in order for you to really get your handstand. So commit to it 5-10 minutes a day. You can do longer if you've built up the strength in your wrists. I probably work on it 20 or 25 minutes. Sometimes it's my whole practice. Sometimes I only get in 5 or 10 minutes, but every day, come to your mat and handstand if you want to be really good at handstands. A way that I really watched my handstands transform is once I got that kick up, I made a rule for myself that I either had to hold a 1-minute handstand on the wall or I had to find my float for 10 seconds without the wall. And when I started committing to that every single day, my wrist got so strong and I started to really understand what was happening in my body when I was upside down. Because that's really hard to do. When you're upside down, all of a sudden right and left and your glutes and your back, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't know where I am in space. Everything's really, really confusing. So it takes a long time of being upside down for you to understand that body awareness in a completely new aspect. So get used to being upside down so that you can start understanding where you are in space. Okay, my next tip, I think tip number 3, would be use your fingers. Okay, so I want you to stand up and I want you to just lean forward. Start to lean. Automatically, what happens? I'm gripping with my toes because I'm gonna fall over. So if you start to fall, you grip. And that's just a natural reaction from the toes. And yet when I see people hand balancing that are brand new to it, and they're not gripping with their fingers, of course you're gonna fall over. You need your brakes. You need to gain that strength through the hands and through the wrists and through the fingers, and you'll do that with your tiger claw hands or your spider fingers, whatever you wanna call them. So get used to bending those knuckles throughout the fingers and gripping your mat or gripping the floor. Now you can do that even just in that plank position or hands and knees. Get used to gripping your mat when you shift forward, because that's what's gonna stop you from falling over. I have found that the more that I handstand, the less that I have to do that, because I'm able to find the balance through my hands. But that first 2 years, I was gripping to save my life. So grip with your fingers, use those as your brakes. If you're going too far forward, you grip. If you're falling back, push with the base of the palm. Okay, so using your fingers, that's a huge tip. Let me see if I can show you when I'm upside down. Try to watch just my fingers. You see them gripping? Okay, so you get the idea. Use your tiger claw fingers. They're gonna help you from falling over. They're essential those first few years in hand balancing. Okay, the next tip is bring your shoulders up to your ears. So a lot of times in yoga, we're always saying shoulders down and away from the ears, but that's not really always helpful. There's a lot of postures where the shoulders need to rise up. We need to reach. If the shoulders are down or away from the ears, we are dumping into the back. We're putting a lot of weight that we don't need to be doing in that low back. So reach the arms up. Let me show you here using the wall. It's a nice place to be able to feel that posture. So kick up. Okay, shoulders are away from the ears, and now they rise up, away. So these are just like those scapular push-ups. You can feel when the shoulders are up where they need to be. My body gets long, all of a sudden my arms get stronger, and that's where that position should be the whole time. So shoulders up by the ears the whole time. Get used to that idea. Okay, my next tip would be shoulders forward. So not only do the shoulders have to rise up, but when you're kicking up, the shoulders have to come forward. A lot of times when I kick up, I tell the shoulders where I want them to go before they even go there. So if you see, if I start back here, I don't have as good of a chance kicking up. It's a long ways. And I get a big dump in that low back. So a lot of times, before I kick up, I shift forward, telling my shoulders just where I want them to go. I want them here. I want you to come here. Okay, so shoulders forward, over the wrists. And then the same is true if you start to fall and you fall towards the back of your mat, well, shoulders forward. So bring the shoulders forward over the wrists. That way you have that proper alignment right from the kick up. As you can see, I have very little ego about not kicking up every time, and I hope that you do too, because you will kick up 1,000 times and fail in the beginning. You'll kick up and kick up and kick up, and it will seem fruitless and frustrating, but know you're putting in the work. It's not always going to happen every single time, and that's okay. Try to enjoy the journey. Know that you're getting stronger, and who cares if you kick up sometimes and you don't make it, because those times that you do get it, there it is. It feels so good. It's so exciting. So don't beat yourself up if every time you kick up you don't make it, or if you kick up 1,000,000 times and you don't make it. That's natural in the beginning. Okay, my next tip is to make the lower half of the body, especially the upper legs, especially the glutes, make them carry the weight. So once you've found that kick up, once you've found that balance, engage the glutes, engage the legs, squeeze them towards each other for all you've got, point the toes and get tall. So let me see if I can show you what I mean. Okay, so shoulders forward, right? Okay. Kick up, legs together. Okay, here the legs are not engaged. Now they're engaged. Not engaged, engaged. Loose, tight. And when I tighten my butt and I engage my legs, all of a sudden I get much lighter and my body doesn't feel like it has to carry quite the same amount of weight. So get used to squeezing the legs, squeezing the butt in, reach the toes up, get as tall as you can. That's a great tip for finding that super straight line and for not having to have your arms carry so much of the weight. Make the legs help. Okay, another tip would be, everybody has that banana back, right? So in the beginning, a lot of people get their handstand and they got this arch in their low back. That's because of the pelvis. So part of it's the core. We need to strengthen the core so that we take the dump out of that low back. But part of it's just the pelvis. With this anterior tilt, we have to tuck the tailbone down. So tailbone down towards the heel, automatically you lose that arch in the low back. So when you get upside down, it's really hard to tell right from left, like I said, but the more that you do it, especially if you're on the wall, anchor that tailbone down, tip the pelvis, get that hips underneath you, and you'll take that arch out of the low back. Let's see if I can show here. I tried very hard on correcting a banana back, so it's hard to demonstrate one now. There it is. And then I tip the pelvis underneath. There's that arch, the banana back. I reach the tailbone towards the heels, tip the pelvis underneath, and take out that banana back. So work on that whenever you do your handstands on the wall. Get the pelvis underneath you, tailbone towards the heels. Try to scoop it underneath. You can help by lifting that pelvic floor, sucking the low belly in, and then do that every time that you're practicing on the wall. That way it becomes more natural when you're doing it in the center of the room. All right, so let me think, any other tips or tricks? Come at it every day. Practice a little bit every day. Proper wrist warm up, shoulder warm up, core warm up. Shoulders have to come forward when you kick up. Grip with your fingers. Anchor your tailbone towards your heels. Get that pelvis tucked underneath you. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your legs. Get really tall. Push out of the arms as the shoulders come up to the ears. And be patient, and be patient. Because you're gonna do this a little bit every day. Don't expect this miracle to happen in a week or in a month, or maybe even in a year. It could be just the beginning of things shifting at the end of a year. But imagine what would happen if you never tried. You'd always wonder. So just begin. If it's something that you really care about, if it's something that you really want to do, then begin and then commit to it every day. 5, 10, 20 minutes where you always watch proper form, where you don't get frustrated with yourself, because there will be good days and there will be bad days. Don't beat yourself up on those bad days. And then don't overly celebrate on the good days. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, and watch it as it progresses. Have fun with it. And then help somebody else. There's nothing like teaching other people that want to do these kinds of things to really anchor in that information in your own brain. I think that is it. Please feel free to private message me on Instagram at Kelsioki, just like it is here on YouTube. I would be happy to do private lessons with you and help you along in your handstand journey. Oh, the last thing, my other tip that I think really helps is I've always recorded my practice. So record your practice, because it's really hard to see what you're doing when you're upside down. You don't have any real perspective of what things look like, but when you watch your videos, you go, oh gosh, yeah, I was really arching in my low back. Oh, I never gripped with my fingers. Oh, I really didn't push out of my shoulders. And just having that awareness, now you can start to shift and change things the next time you come to your handstand practice. So hopefully those kinds of tips and tricks will help you. And in the end, maybe you'll get your handstand, maybe you won't. Doesn't matter, doesn't change you, make you a good person or a bad person. Just means you're a person. But it sure is fun. And if it's something that you love doing, then do it. And don't let anybody tell you that it's wrong. And there you go, friends. Happy handstanding. Namaste.